So we are live again with our final episode of this series that we have been constantly trying to pursue our mental wellness through this particular series, and we are able to establish more. And today I again have my uh, friend, a kind of a person who I can resonate on this particular topic. So Smita, Kadam, you are again welcome to
Thank
our
you.
fifth episode, and uh, this was something that we planned, and I'm really glad that it has worked out till five episode, and I'm hoping that it would keep on working throughout our entire life. So,
Yes.
with that particular saying, the consistency, the passion, the involvement that Smita has shown in past five episode in this particular series is commendable because uh, commitment is something that is the most cherished competency when it comes to mental wellness. And being a coach, I truly believe that making that particular point yourself available for for this particular series is also kind of a commitment which very few of us have. So with that particular understanding, and today's topic is all about that, because we are going to design your mental fitness plan. And without commitment, without dedication, those plans are just going to be something that is scribbled on the paper, that would be on your wall, never been act on, and that is how it is going to be there. So once again, I'm thrilled to have Smita Kadam. She is an author, she is an entrepreneur, she's a founder, she is a counselor, and lot many roles. And she's juggling her family role as well in between. So, so there are too much of roles in which she is able to manage, and definitely whatever she teach or preach, this is what she practices, and that's why every person, or me or Smita, we have a certain kind of fitness plan that we adhere to. That's why it has assured us to juggle so many balls at the same point of time. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into mental fitness, what it really means, and how we can create a plan that a person or that can be a person, or it can be a personal, simple, and a consistent one. So let's start with the first question, Smita. I think Wisdom Seed has been trying to make this particular series in order to answer one of the blocks that we are facing when we talked about the mental wellness talk. And we
Mhm.
had continuous series in which we have talked about how to talk to yourself, how to deal with the negative thoughts, how to have a growth mindset, and in between of all those particular the concept, the terminology, the theory. Now it's a time to put certain thing in action.
Yeah.
So, to just demystify, the first thing is, what do you mean by mental wellness, and how it is different from mental health? That is the first question I want to ask with you.
So people who understand what is the physical fitness, they
Mhm.
better
Mhm.
understand the mental fitness too.
Okay.
However,
Hmm.
whoever is listening or who might listen after the our session, it
Hmm.
is a practice of strengthening your mind to improve emotional well-being,
Hmm.
focus, and resilience.
Right.
It is just like a physical fitness,
Right.
right? We we try to build our muscles same way mental fitness is.
Hmm.
However,
Hmm.
it includes the clarity of your thoughts, emotional regulation, then mental flexibility, self awareness, and positive mindset towards life.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
these are all things are learnable skills. It is
Right.
not something that we are born with it, right?
Very true. Very true.
If there are certain people who could easily create their mental fitness, it is just being that the whatever the experiences they got, they concluded them
Hmm.
towards their betterment,
Right.
towards in their favor, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the difference only which we have. And anyways, everyone knows the physical fitness. However, how many of them really stick to that physical fitness? We know
Hmm.
that we need to walk or maybe do 30 minutes exercise at least to keep
Hmm.
ourselves
Hmm.
fit.
Right. Right.
And if you ask whoever is around you,
Hmm.
they will just tell you that yeah, they know the importance, but they can't stick to it,
Very true. Very
or
true.
they start but after a
Hmm.
few days they left.
Hmm.
So same thing is happening with the mental fitness. one day when they are emotionally broke, they are just watching some videos or YouTube or checking on their Instagram, whatever the hooks or their quick tips are there, they are implementing then there, and they are just forgetting. Sometimes it
Hmm.
is working,
Hmm.
sometimes it is not working.
True.
However, there is some ritual need to be set, which is
Hmm.
our
Hmm.
next point actually.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yeah.
yes, this is something like your physical fitness.
Right. So when I look at mental fitness, it's more about proactive steps that you take towards it. Same in order to manage your thoughts, your emotion, your behavior. Why we do it? Because it helps us to function better or bringing the best out of ourselves. Maybe it be emotionally, socially, or mentally. Now we don't go to gym because we are sick. We go to gym because we want to build strength and develop a stamina. Same goes with our mental fitness. It is about resilience, self-regulation, and flexible under pressure. So these are some of the, when we talk about mental fitness, it is all about how you create a resilience. Now, when I talk about resilience, it's all about how you surf your emotions, because emotions are the most powerful urges that we get. And when we have a default way of thinking on certain situation, we tend to act or behave in a certain way, which has caused a lot of problems physically, mentally, socially. And this is where we have to really discipline ourselves. This is where the mental fitness or your ritual comes in play. So the next question that I want to ask, and even research point has said that Dr. Shirzat Shaman defines that mental fitness as your capacity to respond to life challenge with a positive rather than a negative mindset. So mental fitness is all about making a positive, progress towards that, taking all challenges in a positive mindset.
Yeah.
Uh, because as Smita has very well established into our previous episode, that whatever works for you in a positive direction, whichever thoughts that is there, that has to be taken into consideration. Okay, so very well said, Smita. I think that is what we want, and definitely coming to the second segment that we talked about, like how to craft personal wellness ritual. Okay, so that is the main thing, because let's talk about rituals, because it is because people we know that people should meditate or journal, but they don't make it stick. So
Hmm.
what makes wellness ritual powerful? What do you think? What make them stick?
So, having said that, understanding about the importance is a one point. However,
Hmm.
experiencing that importance is another point.
Okay, all right.
People know the importance, but people haven't experienced the importance,
Mm-hmm.
right? People know that 10,000 steps a day can build their muscles, leg
Mm-hmm.
muscles, or something.
Or
But
cardio health.
right, cardio
Hmm.
health. But
Hmm.
however, they haven't gone through that experience. That's why they are just by looking at somebody or listening to somebody, they are creating their own standards. However, those are false standards,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? When wellness comes, mental wellness, where we are talking, it is intentional.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It should be like a soul nourishing practices. It should come within yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
That strong determination, that laser focus. This is what I said to myself, and I'll be doing it. And by having that one statement,
Hmm.
telling yourself that yes, this is what I have said, and I'm gonna do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm gonna do it now.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this is something that it's a success mantra.
Right. Right.
Whatever you set to, and if you could convert that into a action,
Hmm.
then that's a success,
Hmm.
right? So this is intentional. If you don't want to emotionally broke, sometimes it is okay
Hmm.
to get
True.
emotionally broken,
Right.
mentally, physically, right?
Right.
Why? Because that is a natural process, and that to uplift you,
Hmm. Hmm.
to tell you that something is missing, something is
Hmm.
misaligned in your
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
Just go and check.
Hmm.
So if we are talk about ritual, um, our ancient time also talk about this rituals and all those things.
Hmm.
Earlier we used to do prayers, right? Some mantras, chanting, and all those things. That
Hmm.
used to feel,
Hmm.
or that used to give us a
Hmm.
booster dose, I would say, in the
Right.
morning itself,
Hmm. Hmm.
of that mental
Hmm.
well-being, right?
Right.
So when we are talking about the rituals, it should start from the morning itself. Rather than, I would say that night before,
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
setting some intention.
Right.
Before
Right.
going sleep, you should set
Hmm.
intention to your
Hmm.
well-being,
Hmm.
mental
Hmm.
well-being, right?
Right.
I always ask people, whenever you're planning something, or you want to set some rituals or develop some habits, start one day before.
Hmm.
It is not like that tomorrow morning I'll be doing it. No. Today
Right.
evening you are gonna start it.
Right. Right.
Being a researcher, I used to follow this from my
Hmm.
research career itself.
Hmm.
Whenever used to have any experiment,
Hmm.
my whoever has worked with me, it is like my
Hmm.
complete understanding and my intention is to, you should be ready one day before
Right.
starting the experiment.
Very true. So now
And I
this.
implement
Hmm.
that, and it has
Hmm.
helped so many people. So
Right.
people
Right.
know that this discipline
Hmm.
is working, and everyone should adapt, or at
Very.
least try to adapt.
Very true. So for me, when ritual become powerful is like when you have an emotional rewards, towards it. If you're doing a ritual but it doesn't have an emotional rewards, that lose the entire purpose of that particular ritual. So if I see that myself and I attach an identity to that particular ritual, if I want to see myself as someone who is going to develop a six packs app. Okay. So whenever I am going to go through my entire day, if I don't have any ritual of having a particular meal in a particular calorie count, that doesn't set with my standards. Okay.
Mm.
So and if it doesn't set with my standards, definitely the emotional rewards are not there.
Hmm.
So whenever you are making a ritual, make sure that there is an emotional reward first, that gives you a certain kind of emotional satisfaction, the same kind of dopamine, rush that we have in lot many times. So that is one thing that we can do. Second is it a quick to access? As you said that we have to have something in first in the morning, but for that we have to priorly plan in the evening. So if you
Yes.
want to go for a jog tomorrow, make sure that your jogging suit and your shoes are just placed next to your wherever you sit and you want to go directly,
Yes.
because that is something that would make sure that the accessibility is there. And as I told earlier, that identity driven. So if you want to create an identity, like let's say we want to become a coach, so we made it a kind of a ritual that yes, whatever I have learned, I will try and follow it, because I have to make sure that whatever technique that I have learned, is it really working out for me or not? So
Yeah.
whatever we are saying over here, definitely we are practicing on our levels, whichever identity that we have driven. So that is something that we are practicing. So for our viewers who think that okay, mantra is not my thing. Okay, let's say I don't want to chant any mantra. I don't want to do anything for a global audience, an audience who just want to do it for the sake of doing it. And mantra or something mimicking mantra. Okay,
Hmm.
a sound which mimics mantra, like when we say humming noise. Okay, so even if you do a humming, you don't have to say any mantra. That also calms your brain in the same fashion as you do it with mantra. Because if you
Right.
talk about mantra already have certain humming noise, certain noises or certain kind of pitch level that can travel from your, from your navel to till your heart, and from heart to your,
Right.
when we talk about pineal gland. Now that is something, or amygdala. So when you do humming, all these, a part of yours get into that humming part, which actually makes sure that your vagus nerve is calmer. So your vagus nerve usually is disrupted, or it is guided by what kind of sound, or if you have certain kind of somatic exercises, which is like, limb tapping or chest tapping that you do. Okay. Or inner, what we can say, we call them as the blood flowing veins that we have in the inner part, like the inner thigh tapping, on the chest tapping, belly tapping, then we have lower back tapping. So these tappings are really helpful in order to make sure that you are disrupting that particular stress that is accumulated in your body. Maybe by past night, or maybe something like, let's say in the morning itself, if you're habituated to get that particular dopamine rush through your mobile phones, or maybe through your coffee or a tea, if you do these things, you won't require coffee or tea. I can definitely, I can say that that can be one of the ritual that you can do. So, the major thing that you have to talk about is what are the micro habits that you make. It is very important because very few of us have this particular habit of creating a goal which is very big at the beginning. So if you do this small, tips like as Smita said, mantra. Okay, if I for next 21 days, if I have not started my journey, I will start with humming. I will start simple as dancing to one of the song that is there. Okay, in the morning, rather than just going to the mobile phones, I will on as my favorite song and I will dance. I will just dance it out.
Yeah.
Okay, that will also create a certain kind of positivity that you require. Okay, so that is something that you can do. So whenever my clients, whenever they comes to me and they really talk about, sir, I'm struggling with all this particular ritual. How what you're saying, like it's very boring. So, so what I do is I really craft those particular kind of ritual based upon their core needs. What are their needs? Like I always give them something that resonate with their needs, which establish how to calm them, how they can have a little bit of control on their moods, not on the outer situation, but on their moods. And secondly, how they can connect well to their selves. So that is very, very much important because I think if you have an day started with an intention of not getting bugged, like I usually do this particular ritual whenever I have to travel to some place and when I am driving, before getting into my car, I usually have this box breathing technique. And I have this particular realization that I am driving a potential gun. Okay. Because I can kill with my car. So it is as good as loaded gun. So
Yes.
I have to be very calm when I'm driving my vehicle because there will be a lot of instances on road. There will be a lot of people who have a different civic sense or civic or road traffic quotient, and I
Right.
have to deal with them. And, and I
There is no
have to
option.
yeah, and I have to make sure that whatever has happened in my home, I have to keep it at home. I have to drive very safely and calmly when I'm behind that wheels. So I make sure that I have this 30-second breathing exercise where I calm myself and then I start the button and then I go onto my journey. So these are some of these small things that you do, and this would
Yeah.
have a very big ripple effect. And as mantra, as you said, that yes, why we are not able to stick with our ritual is definitely, as I said, the emotional rewarding, it has to be there. So you have to feel good about it. Secondly, what is the quick access that you have to it? It can be humming is a quick access, breathing is a quick access. You don't have need
Yeah.
any gadget, you don't require any mala, you don't require any ideal. You just can just do it quickly.
Yes.
Okay, breathing, tapping,
Absolutely.
anything that you can do with your body, right? And it has to be identity driven. So don't make it something that is like influence driven, but something that you want to achieve. So that can attach to that particular part. So I think that is where this thing comes in play. So anything else that you want to add to this, Smita? What do you think? Like, is it like
Um,
pretty much comprehensive?
yes. So the way you said that box
Hmm.
breathing, that absolutely works very nicely. I also practice it.
Hmm.
Now it is like after the box breathing, there are few breathing exercises I do
Hmm.
follow every
Hmm.
day,
Right.
and followed by that meditation. It works miraculously for me. And um, as you know that I'm working with anxiety patients, people who
Hmm.
are suffering with the
Right.
overthinking and all those things. So these things work miraculously. My
Right.
one of my client, he recovered 80% of his
Hmm.
anxiety by doing just breathing exercises.
Wow. Wow.
So it is that much powerful.
Right.
However, you need to learn it certain way. And see that I don't tell them to this is a particular time you should do, just
Hmm.
basic understanding that after lunch or after dinner don't practice. You
Hmm.
should do it empty stomach.
Right.
Ir- After that, whenever you find time, you can do it.
Very true.
It is advisable that to have do it on a certain time at certain time.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is not possible, then do it, at least do it. That
Mm,
one tick mark should be there,
mm,
that gives
mm,
you rewards, right?
mm, mm,
Because I completed that task, or I
mm,
completed that sadhana today.
mm, mm, mm.
These are very simple things,
Right,
right?
right.
And we are in a such a beautiful country that we have invented all those things.
Yeah,
It is not
true,
discovered, it is
true,
invented by us,
true, true.
right?
Mm,
So why not to follow? People are
right.
coming in
To
India,
India.
learning and going back to
Mm.
their country and teaching those things. However, we are very much privileged to have these things. And
Mm,
after following this, I don't think that anyone should go through the emotional breakdown or suffer a lot.
mm.
Suffering should be there, I would say. Suffering should be
Definitely,
there, but
definitely.
there is a technique, technology, tips, and all those things are available
Mm.
around us. Just
True.
you have to ask, and
Mm,
it shall be given to you. It shall appear in front of you,
mm.
right?
Yeah, I think this remind me of one of the podcasts that I did a year back with Brian. I just still remember his first name, and he is working with one of the hardware which would calculate the stress level in your brains, detecting your brain waves. So that is what he's working on in hardware. Now in India also we have those particular hardware which have certain biomarkers which talks about how much your body is stressed.
Yeah.
Same we do with our blood work, like checking our cholesterol, sugar, and other hormones that are there. So
Yes.
same technology, not same technology, but the technology which mimics that particular part, which calculate all the biomarkers which are related to stress. So within that conversation, as you said earlier, right, that I was asking that what would be the way forward, in order to have that mental peace into this particular practice that is going to be there. And he was just paused for 5 seconds and he said, Abhijit, do you know that we are looking at India to guide us? That what's supposed to be the way forward? And I was really shocked and I was surprised and I was like feeling kind of confused, like, yes, yeah, means we are so much like we are sitting on a treasure of all those practices that are there.
Yes.
Definitely we have buried them under a misconceptions, not misconception, but doing it as a what I can say, ritual without knowing the value of it. Okay,
Exactly. So
we are
जो
just doing tick mark
yeah,
activity.
it is something like जहाँ पे उगता है वहां
वहां
पे
पे
वो
नहीं बिकता है. So he was like, we are looking at India. What would be the next big breakthrough into this kind of techniques? And there are a lot of kind of techniques which are being picked up from a lot of practices. Let it be Hinduism, let it be Jainism, let it be Sufi, let it be Buddhism, Zen. If you go to Japan, and I think we are like a culminating point. We are a melting pot of all these techniques that are there. Even Yuval Harari, the author of Nexus and Homo sapien, he comes to India for Vipassana. In his interview, he has said that every year he comes to India for Vipassana and he does it and he go back and that is the inspiration and fuel for him to write such a profound books. And at the other end, so it's a kind of an ironic, we see that it's a very ironic thing. The only thing is like we are not doing it on a regular basis with a conviction. That is the main thing. So when I talk to my client and I encourage that anchor their day with 3 rituals. Okay, rituals are something that you have to time and how it has to be like morning focus, midday rest, and evening reflections. So morning has to start with focus. What you have to do first, you can focus on that. Midday, you
Yeah.
can have certain rest breaks. When I say rest, it doesn't mean taking a nap. You can take nap definitely, but power naps you can take it, or
Yes.
even you can rest your mind by involving into some activity, a light activity that is there, or creative expression, drawing, sketching, writing certain script, or planning for the next day. That can be a recreational part when your mind is doing a monotonous time. jobs. And in evening, you can have a reflection kind of an exercise. How was your day? What you have done right? What was done wrong? So all those three rituals: focus, rest, and reflect. Now we
Yes.
have to keep it very simple, repeatable, and aligned to our values. Now, when I say the two part would be easier, simple and repeatable, people will do. But when I say aligned to your values, this is where the
Hmm.
question comes. Why? What do you mean by
Yes.
values? So, Smita, what do you think? What do you mean when I say that aligned to your values? What comes to your mind?
So aligned to your values means how I have been, means what is my make,
Make, right?
right? What
Hmm.
is my make?
Hmm.
That defines my values.
Right. Hmm.
If I am, and there is a very simple method by which you can understand what are your values.
Right.
I can just ask you one question, that remember your, uh, you can recollect a memory where you got proud feeling about yourself. You felt that I achieved something,
Hmm.
right? From that incident, ask yourself, what was the remarkable thing I noticed about myself?
Hmm. Hmm. Right.
What helped me to achieve that success?
Hmm.
You will see that those are your values.
Hmm.
For
Hmm.
example, if you have scored in your 10th or maybe 12th, that
Hmm.
is what you remember, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Their determination,
Hmm.
your honesty,
Hmm.
whatever it is. So for
Hmm.
me, it is determination, honesty, consistency.
Hmm.
These are your values,
True. Hmm.
right? Same way, if you go back and recollect memory where you felt miserable about yourself,
Hmm. Hmm.
disappointed, you got
Hmm.
insulted,
Right.
ask yourself what are things happened and
Hmm.
why
Hmm.
did that happen? You
Right.
will understand that there were a few values got compromised.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because of that you felt miserable, because
Hmm.
of that you felt disappointed.
Wow. Good.
And from
Hmm.
there, from these two instances, you will see that there is a lot of
Hmm.
resemblance between the qualities, between the
Hmm.
your value system,
Hmm. Hmm.
and pick them. Those are your filters,
Hmm. Hmm.
those are your decision makers,
Hmm.
those
Hmm.
are driving your decision,
Hmm.
those
Hmm.
are which are driving you,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
when you know that determination or discipline or having the achiever mindset, achieving,
Hmm.
right? Some people have that. Whatever I set, I
Hmm.
complete it. So that's
Hmm.
the attitude. That's
Hmm.
your quality. That's your value.
Hmm.
If you are not able to fulfill that, definitely you are going to disappoint
Hmm.
yourself as well as feel miserable.
Hmm.
That alignment is your alignment with whatever you want to become, or whatever rituals you want to set,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So that values you need to understand first. After that you will see that it's very much easy process to follow the ritual.
Very, very profound, Smita. I think that was a very important thing because uh, what happens now, you said it right. You actually hit a bullseye. Why we feel bad about certain things is because we have compromised our values. Somewhere we have made that particular compromise. It is like when you say yes to something, you are saying no to something. Or when you're saying no to something, you're saying yes to something. So whenever you make a choice, you are actually saying yes, okay, this is what I want. But at the same time, you're saying no to certain things. Like if you're going for a dinner for your with your friends, you are saying no to the family time that you're going to spend with them. So every choice would have certain kind of replication, and when it sits with your values, when you are compromising your values, definitely the stickiness of the ritual would fade away. As what you talked about, the question that was there, that how to make your wellness ritual powerful. Make sure that they are simple, repeatable, but they are aligned to your value. Unless until they are not aligned to your value, they are not going to stick with you. You won't feel the emotional rewards. You won't feel the connectedness. You won't feel the identity that is attached to that particular ritual. So,
Yes.
yes, so values are the core, as you said, the make of yourself. And through that, lot many behavioral aspect, and behavioral comes into ritual, and ritual would be all about that.
Yes.
So beautifully said, Smita. I really felt that that was one of the key nugget that is there, that if you are compromising on your values, you would start feeling miserable, and this would be the disruption of your ritual that you're going to stick to. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give
Hmm.
you a simple example so that people will understand.
Right.
So this is a case of one of my client, and she's a
Hmm.
achiever,
Hmm.
right? By nature, she is something like whatever she said, she had seen herself that
Hmm.
she's accomplishing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because of that, whenever she is not able to fulfill her whatever the set goal,
Hmm.
she used to feel disappointed. I asked her that why do you feel so?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I did this one small exercise, the
Hmm.
just I told you, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
From there she was like, yeah, I didn't know that this is what something I'm made made up of, and
Hmm.
I should go for it,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I should drive through that one key aspect of my life,
Hmm.
key value of my life.
Right.
And from there her life got changed.
Hmm. Hmm.
She started saying, seeing that herself, that is this my value is getting fulfilled here?
Hmm. Hmm.
If not, definitely I'm going to get disappointed.
True.
And
Very true.
having that awareness about
Hmm.
the value,
Hmm.
she started working more, the goals, whatever the goals she used to set, with the awareness, with
Hmm.
conscious mind, right? It
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
those were not vague, those were very
Right.
specific.
Hmm.
And all the parameters which we set to for the goals, having a specific goal, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Unknowingly she started fulfilling those criterias for it,
Right.
because of this one key
Hmm.
element, that is aligning with values.
Very true. Very true. Now, I think it's a very one thing that really hinders is, like, keeping consistency and simple. We can make it simple. And when we say simple, simple doesn't mean easy. Simple means simply you are able to see it, but it doesn't guarantee that it would be easy. Okay. Because even like making yourself aware of the fact that this is something that I'm compromising, and it is going to be erupted when I keep on pushing and suppressing it at the end of those things. And that can be, the price would be paid by my goals, can be paid by the dream that I have, or by the change that I want to make. And this
Hmm.
is where we tend to skip the consistency that is there. And one of the major biggest part is that, like, after 2 weeks into that particular goal, yeah, or 2 weeks or 1 month, like most of the time we have that new resolution, and we have that particular pun saying that, like, how, what is the life of the your resolution is jab tak hai Jan. Okay. So till the time Jan is there, the resolution is there. Once it is turned to February, the resolution is gone. So I think that is one thing that is there, because we try to eat elephant in the first bite. That is the first thing that I always see. That we don't focus for sustainable progress. Sustainable progress is something we always see that now we have to be perfect in that, and that is the main killer of whichever ritual that you do. To, if you want to keep consistent, make sure you are making a small incremental progress. So today, if I in gym, we used to have this particular kind of a rule that if you are able to make do 5 sets, you know that I'm going to do 5 set.
Hmm.
My capacity is that, but I will do only 4 sets. Now,
Hmm.
why it is like, why it is important, because that one set would make sure that
Hmm.
tomorrow you would come to the gym and do 5 sets.
5 sets.
Or if you exhaust your entire muscle in first, like your willpower to
Hmm.
do that, next day your mind would kick in and you will say, yaar kal bahut ho gaya tha, today we will just make a little bit route of that. So
Excuse.
always that will be an excuse. So even in terms of ritual, when we have a goals, for mental health, and we do that particular goals, like I will do 20 minutes, आज मैं 20 minutes बैठ के meditation करूंगा, I will sit for 20 minutes and do meditation. And within first 2 minutes, you know how your mind is. It will give you such kind of case studies and such kind of scenarios that you can't escape, rather than thinking over it, overthinking it over it. And then you will get like, most of my clients say that I get bored, I get scared.
Hmm.
I feel like there are a lot of thoughts that are rushing in and I feel overwhelmed and I just stop meditation. I just go back to my mobile phone or do something else. So I always tell them that do incremental progress.
Yes.
If you are able to sit 10 seconds in first day, it's fine. 20 seconds is your goal. 20 seconds is
Yeah.
what your is your ideal state. So 10,000 step is what is your ideal state, okay, of walking in physical
Hmm.
realm. So 20 minutes is a meditation that is into mental realm. So start with 10 seconds, then progress it to 20. Do it whatever, satisfy you. It because your muscles, same, your muscles are on the progression of how your physical fitness is there. So you can't start with 100 kg, you can start with 2 kgs, 5 kgs. Same goes with your mental muscles as well.
Yeah.
And this is where the consistency takes a backseat. So make sure that progress over perfection is something that is to be there, the first thing. And second is there has to be a habit stacking. So this is a concept taken from atomic
Atomic
habits
habit.
from, yeah, from James Curls,
Hmm.
that he talks about like always have stacking of, habit stacking kind of a
Right.
formula. Like if you are having a coffee, after like if you want to journal, make sure that your journal is placed next to your coffee station or maybe tea station or maybe on a dining table, so that
Hmm.
while having the tea you can journal.
Yeah.
So make that particular stacking of that. So keep a loop that is tight and automatic. So make sure that it becomes a kind of habit. Like if I'm having tea, I'm making sure that 5 minutes I will do journaling, or
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least I will list down 5 sets. So if I want to go for a walk tomorrow, I will make sure that the night prior I will keep my shoes and track pant over there. So now this would becomes your habit stacking that is there.
Yeah.
So, and that is where we have to make sure that we have to do incremental changes, and habit stacking is one of the most important part if you want to be consistent and making your life simple. Not
Yes.
easy, but simple at first.
And the third rule, I would
Hmm.
say that anchor to your identity. We
Hmm.
have just
Talked about
touched
it. Yeah.
that
Hmm.
point,
Hmm.
but simple example that I want to read daily.
Hmm.
If that is what you want to start, right?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
want to read a book.
Hmm.
Instead of saying that, if you start saying that I am the kind of a person who learns every day or who
Hmm.
reads every day,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So when I say that I'm the best,
Hmm.
your body, your brain will automatically absorb that words and it start giving that best result.
Hmm. Hmm.
Same way when I say that I am a person who reads every day,
Hmm.
so that is how you can anchor your identity with it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you say that I am emotionally strong person,
Hmm. Hmm.
so that is what anchoring is, or anchoring your identity.
Hmm. Hmm.
So whenever you are talking about yourself,
Hmm.
that becomes very strong statement to yourself, and your body, your brain accept it little
Hmm.
bit easily,
Hmm. Hmm.
instead of saying that I know that how I can tackle my emotions or mental well-being and all those things. Instead of
Hmm.
saying that, you can say that I'm emotionally fit,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
That
I'm
really.
a
Hmm.
person of
Hmm.
who knows how to handle the situation,
Hmm. True.
right? Yeah,
Great.
that's a third point
Third
I
point.
wanted to
It
highlight.
really, yeah, it really made the entire thing. So first thing is sustainable behavior. Second is progress over reflection. And third is the identity part. So these are the third thing that you can make sure that you are incorporating into your daily ritual to make it consistent and making it
Yes.
simple. So coming to the next section, Smita, that if I want to talk about what is your personal plan and habits that you do for the ritual that you have set for mental well-being.
Okay, so the way I said that
Hmm.
my day start one day before,
Right. Hmm.
right? So whatever I have to do tomorrow, I just see that everything is aligned, everything is planned
Hmm. Hmm.
one day prior, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Evening, I take out 10 to 15 minutes to
Hmm.
just reflect on the day,
Hmm.
and based on that I prepare for myself for the
Right.
next day, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
whatever learnings I get, I ask myself, what are my learnings from this?
Hmm.
How can I make my tomorrow better,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? These things give me a major boost.
Right. Hmm.
Work effortlessly.
Hmm.
I don't use after doing this planning and this reflection, I don't have to use my brain, because
Hmm.
it's already set. The tone is already set.
Right.
So in the morning, my rituals are set, like 10,000 K steps plus my sadhana and meditation,
Hmm.
followed by my whatever the work alignment,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
After that, my day gets started, and same day, same thing I follow.
Great.
So this
Great.
is about work as well as
Hmm.
emotions,
Hmm. Hmm. Great.
because I'm preparing myself
Hmm.
every day. Every
Hmm.
day, I'm focusing on my goal.
Hmm.
Definitely, whatever some bumps comes in,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm in a good position to handle them
Right.
instead of just juggling here and there.
Hmm.
Better you create your threshold,
Hmm.
that below
True.
that you won't fall,
Hmm.
right? If I feel miserable, I ask myself, cry, Smita. Whatever, however, how much you want to cry, cry.
Hmm.
But I give that timeline to myself that yes, you have a 1 hour to cry now. After that, you are not
Yeah.
gonna cry,
Right. Right.
right? You will
Hmm.
bounce back to your
Right.
originality, or
Hmm.
whatever you have
Hmm.
purpose in your life. You are going to bounce back.
Right.
So
So,
it has really helped me a lot,
hmm. Hmm.
right? So to bring me myself back,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that's how I have built my resilience.
Right.
Otherwise, I was a person who used to cry
Hmm.
every day for a very small things, right?
Hmm.
इसने
Hmm.
ये बोला, उसने वो बोला,
Hmm.
ये आज काम नहीं हुआ है, वो आज काम नहीं
Hmm.
हुआ, उसने ऐसे क्यों किया, उसने
Hmm.
वैसे क्यों किया. So I have been there. Okay. So I feel like no, I have
Hmm.
all the controls.
Hmm.
No person, no situation has the capacity to ruin my happiness
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
deviate me from my
Hmm.
goals,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, this thing has really brought to my one of the glee on my face or the smile on my face is one of the realization that I had as you are having your realization. The moment I also your favorite sin was to cry, you know, your favorite to cry on a lot of many things. My favorite sin was to overthink on a lot of many things. Overthink and catastrophize it means make it sure that it is going to sink. Like if I see a police, traffic police on the signal, and if I'm driving and at the signal, I would always see at the traffic signal, and I only
But no.
imagine that मेरा ना चालान कटने वाला है. I mean, that is what the catastrophizing behavior is. That is how overthinking goes. That it would go to all possible worst situation and that would come back. And in I still remember in my working days when I was like with companies and I was under this particular pressure, and that was really amplified. You know, like I used to think on n number of things, which doesn't make any direct impact on what I'm living right now. So there was one technique that I picked up, and I felt like the same thing like you have said. Like I have given myself an hour, jitna rona hai ro lo. Okay, so what I used to do that if I'm getting bogged up with my overthinking habit, let me schedule it in a day. So what I do if I have like subah 11 baje, I feel like I overthink a lot. I've seen that particular pattern. That is something that happens. Or maybe on a particular day, on this particular time, I have the habit of overthink. Or maybe a situation that I come, like maybe it's a person, a situation, or all those things. So I used to tell myself, I will worry, I will overthink, but I will schedule it. I will schedule it at 4 p.m. every day. Okay, जो भी मुझे ओवर थिंक करना है ना, I will do it by 4 to 5. I won't do it at 11. I won't do it at 12. मुझे जब भी आता है. So I used to tell myself, अच्छा ओवर थिंकिंग आ रहा है. So what I will do, I will schedule it at 4. Okay, 4 बजे मैं ओवर थिंक करूंगा. I will give my permission myself permission to overthink at that point of time. I won't stop myself. I will give my permission. But 4 बजे के बाद, 4 to 5. That is what the
Amazing.
schedule. So that was one thing. And what happened? That worked like magic. I delayed it. And I know that there is a space where I can go and overthink. I really was like 4 बज गए अभी overthink कर रहे हैं. And there was nothing to overthink after a week or two.
Exactly
So
what it is.
yeah, so that is what happens. If you say to yourself that कि अब ये घंटा भर तू कार रोल है, Smita, you cry for 1 hour, you might have finished in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
There is no
really,
1 hour, right, to
yeah,
cry on.
actually,
Yeah,
because next moment you start feeling that, yeah, why am I crying? Right? There is
yeah, why
nothing. Why, there is nothing to cry.
cry on? Right.
Let's do the work. That's
Hmm.
all thing I used to means it's really helped me a lot.
So schedule your crying, schedule your overthinking, schedule whatever your sin is. Okay, if you want to be jealous on somebody, so schedule it that from 1 to 2 I will be jealous on somebody. Don't do it exactly. वैसे तभी मत करना. So what happens? It is called as surfing the emotional wave that you do.
Mm.
So that like it is scientifically said that 90 seconds is what your emotion lasts in your body, and that is a wave. It comes in your body, and if you, for 90 seconds, if you keep yourself calmer, you try to, regulate your breath, you tend to distract yourself to certain other things, you make sure that you schedule your part. So you are just mentally, you're telling yourself that you're safe, don't react. You're safe, don't react. So that is what you're doing in the background. And after 90 seconds, that wave actually subsides. It has a peak,
Yeah.
it has a start, it has a peak, and it subsides. But for 90 seconds, you have to make sure that you're doing all the physiological symptoms that you have, like shallow breathing, fast breathing, tension in your body. You can release that tension by shaking your body. You can have, breath regulation that you can do. Or else, if it is a kind of habit, you can postpone to it, like schedule your anxieties, schedule your overthinking, schedule your onadona, all that you can do. Plan it on calendar. Bakaida, you'll write it on a calendar that today
Yes.
at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. I'm going to overthink.
Yeah.
Same. Smita would have like 4 to 5, I will cry for 1 hour. So that creates a very different effect on your mentality. Because
Yes.
you are on not default mode. You are someone who is planning your entire mental condition. So that is very
Yeah.
important. So if I want to give a three-part structure to this particular part when I start, and as Smita, and I can sum it up in this particular part for our audience, and I usually do with my clients as well, that I usually give them an anchor. Okay, the first step is to anchor yourself in the morning itself, in the starting of the day, with mantras, with breath, with gratification or gratitude meditation that you do, or visualization. That sets an anchor for your entire day.
Yeah.
Intention, like the same thing that I do when I drive a car, I make sure that I do a box breathing and I have an intention that the car in front of me and the car behind of me are the most sane people and they're going to drive very safely. That is what my intention is, no matter what. Okay, that is what I do. I tell myself that they are the most sane people. They're going to drive them properly, and I'm going to be someone who is going to be as calm as possible. So when you have an anchor for that particular day, that let be a theme that today I'm not going to get panic, no matter what happens. Today's theme of my day is don't get panic or be calm. Let's not have don't get panic. Let's say be calm. That is my
Yes.
theme. Next day it would be help somebody. The third day would be thankful to everybody. So like you can have an intention that is called as anchor. So first have an anchor every day. Second, if the anchor is set, then in the mid of the day, let's say 11:30, 12, or on your lunchtime, you can have an awareness session. So you can have an awareness. After anchor, you do an awareness that whatever intention that I have set, was I able to follow that intention till that particular midday? Okay. So how I am feeling right now? Am I feeling like I have decided in the morning that I have to be calm? Am I feeling calm today? So there
Mm-hmm.
would be a lot of answers, there would be like, I am not feeling calm. I am feeling agitated. So you can go back. Why I'm feeling agitated? Why this feeling is coming in? Have I overthinked a lot? Have I being anything that was not in my schedule and I'm doing it? Or is there any unprecedented, moment that has come and because of which I am feeling this kind of feeling? So now you have an introspection. Now you have an awareness. With that awareness, you can go and integration. That is the third step that you do, like anchor. And then we have awareness in the midday. And the last is integration that you do in the night. That is called as a reflection at night. what did I learn today about myself, about my emotions, what I have done. Okay. I did decided that I have to be calm. So how much successful I was there. And over there, you don't have to be perfect. You have to just see the progress. Even if you have, been out of 10 situation, if you have done 5 situations, that means 50% you are able to achieve. That is more than
Yeah.
enough. I would say out of 10, even if you are able to do it at one, and nine was something that in the first week you have done, that is also a progress.
Yeah.
So 10 incremental. So always see progress over perfection. So that you can do integration in the night. So that can be this can be creating loop of awareness, action, and adjustment for the next day that you will be living that particular part. So 3 steps: anchor, setting the day, intention. Then we have awareness, mid of the day, what how to check that whatever intention that has been set, have I following it or not? Followed or not, it's okay. Then you go to integration, that is in the night, you're going to reflect that whatever what I was decided, what I have done, what I have learned today. And I always say learned, because you might be successful or unsuccessful in doing that intention, but doing successfully, you will learn something, and doing it unsuccessfully, you will learn something.
Yeah.
So what was the learning? That is the main thing. So what I have learned about myself, about the situation, about the people that are there, and that would give you a kind of a loop of awareness, action, and adjustment.
Yeah.
So that is what the integration part would be there, and you would start creating a process, a ritual. Every day you would create a ritual. And I think me and Smita are on the same part. Like we are not saying that we are doing it thoroughly every day, but I think on the worst day we are doing compulsorily. Okay. We are doing it compulsorily on the worst day. On a given day, when we see that, okay, things are fine, I think it is all about how much you require. Okay. Sometimes it's okay that you can be self-compassionate towards yourself. Don't be very much, aggressively critical about yourself. Don't be that particular strict parent who would always say, "Arey yaar, nahi jamate ko, what kind of a person you are." It's okay. At least in a week, do 4 day. The probability has to be there. So that is one thing that you can do. Okay. And one more thing that I want to add over here is from anchor, awareness, and integration. There is one more important pillar, four pillar. The fourth pillar would be pause. In between, you have to pause. Why? Because taking intentional mind resets are also important in a day. Let's say you are been into a busy calls, and if your one of your friend is calling just a regular call, you can say no to that point of time and have your calm, mindful break that you want to do. You don't have to be engaged, because I've seen a lot many people going on their tea time, lunchtime in corporate. Most probably they have, one hand is busy shoving food into their mouths, and other hand is watching at some reel or some news that is there on the mobile phone.
Yeah.
That is so disrespectful about the food that is in front of you. At least if somebody is in front of you, start a conversation. Yaar, kaise hai, kya chal raha hai? At least have that particular conversation. Okay, because we are actually demeaning the entire interaction that is there. So even those rituals, sometimes in that conversation, you might find a solution for your own problems. Not mobile phone would always give that. Mobile phone is a distraction that you are applying. So that thing that you can do. So a mindful or intentional pauses are also important when you are transitioning from stages. So from anchoring, if you're transitioning to midday, take a mental pause and then get into the awareness stage. From awareness, if you're getting into the integration, in that integration and awareness part, also have a mind intentional, a mind reset part. You can go for a evening walk, stroll. You can play with your children. You can just go down, have a kind of a 5 minutes rigorous walk. You can just, if you are staying in an apartment, you can have like 2 3 अपने staircase से ऊपर नीचे करो. Make your body, into that particular rhythm, and then go back to the integration part. So every 3 stages with a pause would always give you a better readiness to take that stage or absorb that stage, whatever that stage is going to give you. So that is the fourth pillar. So where I have this found this particular part is from Goldman's 2017 research that they have done, that behavioral science support daily self-reflection as a key factor in emotional intelligence and cognitive control. Why
Yeah.
self-reflection is so important, that the cognitive part, that when you have an emotional intelligence that is created through awareness. If you're aware about your feelings, about what is the situation and what you're feeling, what are your reactions, that creates emotional intelligence, not about attending a workshop. We say that like emotional intelligence पे workshop किया, मेरे को emotional intelligence आ गया. No, it is an intelligence that is built, and it
Yeah.
builds through awareness and observing yourself. Okay, and that's how the cognitive control is also there. Cognitive control, when I talk about, is the self-regulation, emotional regulation, behavioral regulations. All those come into cognitive, but self-reflection is the most important part. So your integration that would happen in the night is the most important part of the day, and the focus anchor, that is the most important part.
Yeah.
So this would make sure that your personal plan and habits are on track. Anything that I'm missing out, Smita, that you want to add in this part?
No, no, no. Absolutely, absolutely. We have actually given a what
Consulting
consult
material
material. Yeah.
in this particular
Yes.
part. But that is what we are here for. We are trying to give value, and definitely people who are want a help. Yes, we are there.
Yes.
Smita is there with anxiety. I am there with mindset and cognitive errors that you're facing. And definitely we are working together in sync. If you guys want to speak with us together or separately, definitely we are there. Our handles are available. You can get in touch with us.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So coming to the next section, Smita, and I want to talk about is creating space for reflection and growth. So what you do, like there is a ritual before getting into integration, like a night reflection. Is there any kind of space that you have made in your home, or is there any kind of a chair or a corner of your sofa or a room that you have specially prepared for yourself where you do your meditation or something like that?
Yes, yes, yes. I have prepared a space for myself
Mm-hmm.
where I pause, reflect, and realign myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my actually my son's bedroom
Mm-hmm.
where I am sitting right now, right? So there itself, it's a very safe space. I could see a football ground from the window. So
Wow.
looking at there itself, I just feel that so much power within these people, right? Those players
Players.
who are playing. So they give me that boost, right? So they motivate me. So that's why this place I have decided, and I really enjoy because I also loved ground. I
Mm-hmm.
played
Mm-hmm.
a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives me that yes, you are born to win. You are born to play your game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the space I have created at my home, as well as some dedicated notebooks are there. Every
Mm-hmm.
day I scribble something or other thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are certain questions I have written down.
Mm-hmm.
To them, I answer every day, like
Right.
what I learned today,
Right.
what has drained my energy, what kind of a thoughts I was getting. See,
Mm-hmm.
consciously, unconsciously, your thoughts are shaping your personality. Your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts are creating
Mm-hmm.
outward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the outside world is there for you, that
Mm-hmm.
you are creating it.
Mm-hmm.
So being aware of your thoughts is very essential.
True.
Many a times I get nervous, so I just ask myself that yes, I'm getting nervous. That awareness itself calm down myself, and it
Right.
helped me to think in a different way, right? which
Mm-hmm.
is which is like just I see what people are doing, I just go and have a cup of tea or something positive, something which can boost or change my mood. That kind of a
Mm-hmm.
things I start doing it, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, having reflection right on that point, then what I'm growing at, so
Mm-hmm.
is it aligned? Whatever the actions I'm taking on daily basis, are those aligned with my goals or
Right.
the purpose of my life?
Mm-hmm.
When I do this, I get peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am on a track. That
Right.
one feeling is very much essential, and that
Mm.
is a booster for the next day.
Right. Very true. Very true. I think one thing that you reflected very well, Smita, is that asking questions. Okay, set
Yeah.
of questions are there because in a space like I do have a space, but everybody do have a space in their home, like one cozy corner of a sofa, maybe a cozy corner of the room, maybe balcony, maybe if you have a terrace where you have planted some plants, or even talking, like as you said, like your child's bedroom, from where you have view to the ground and it reminds you of something. So everybody would have certain kind of clues and visual part. But when you into that space, where you're into in that space, like a lot of many people do all the, what I can say, the atmosphere is totally set. But what to do in that atmosphere? Because reflection, it doesn't have to be static, it has to be dynamic. Okay. And dynamism comes to reflection through questions. So when you ask questions to yourself, like as you said that, let's say for me, it's like if I want to take a entire log of this entire week, let's say on weekend, and usually I do it in weekends, that I do anchor, I do awareness, I do integration with the pause. So every week I would sit with all those 5 days or 6 days of logs that have been created, and I will ask myself that what triggered me in this particular week, and what was the repeated, what emotion keep on repeating, what was the pattern that was there that I saw in myself. Because that is your core, that is your make, as you said, the make. We have values which are working for us and for against us. First of all, we have to get idea of what is working against us, right? Because that is creating a lot of energy depletion that is there.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is
that is
draining.
the it's draining you so much that you are not able to concentrate on the new things, because that's why you're not able to stick to your goals, you're not able to stick to your new sort of version that is there. So I think that part is actually there. So we have to see that what triggered me in this entire week. Let be one person, one situation, one thought. And with that emotion, what keeps on repeating in that week? What is the pattern? Okay, where do I feel stuck a lot? So now when
Yes.
you have this kind of question asked in that particular environment, and it has to be non-judgmental, it has to be with a very compassionate place for yourself. Let me very think, because if you say what triggered me today, kya hua? So don't have that. Have a very compassionate way of asking to yourself as well. Don't
Yes.
make yourself as a person who is into a witness box and you're asking him questions or interrogation is going on. Don't do that. Ask those questions for a genuine feedback. And I think when you're in that environment, as you said, when you see those players on the field and you're automatically in that particular zone, right? You're automatically in that zone. And when you ask those questions, very profound kind of feedback comes in. Even if you look at your logs, you also get all those things. And I think this is where you start, changing yourselves. This is where at least the insight you get. And then you know, okay, this was the demon that I was not looking at. This was the thing that was really depleting my energy. And then you have to fix that vampire. Then you have to really make sure that that vampire has been killed or whatever, tamed, or even that vampire can be, used for your own good as well, because it's very much a raw energy that you have to channelize it so that you can do. So on weekends, I use this. On Sunday evenings, what did I avoided this week? One of the questions that I do, because avoidance is a part of your shadow self. You start avoiding something that is also a shadow self, because it is in your deep dark psyche that sits there, and it creates a fear or jealousy or doubt. So what did I avoided this week? So if I avoided posting a video on certain point of time, I have to ask myself that why was I was not putting that video online? Am I ashamed? I am feeling unprepared. Am I feeling being judged? All those questions would come, and definitely there would be some answer.
Yes,
And you will
definitely.
get that, okay? And what desire more of me next week? So what deserve more of me next week? Like what where time I have to give in? I would give my time to the newfound identity that is there. If I'm being less of my identity in last week, next week I will make sure that what would deserve more of me next week. Now, when you reflect on these particular questions, you are making a space of growth. Otherwise, if you're just making the logs and you don't have the reflection part, and why reflection is so important, as I told you earlier, it would create and encourage your intelligence, increase your emotional intelligence, that is EQ, EI, and then secondly, your cognitive control. That is what you want. That the entire task is all about that, right? So that is what is the main thing. So when we come to the last question, last section of this particular conversation, Smita, what kind of support system that nurture the mind? What do you think? Like, what are the support systems? Now, a lot many audience would be saying that my mother is not coordinating, my husband is not supporting, my children are not supporting. But I think, moreover, you might also come with the realization that the support system has to be set by us. So, what kind of support system that nurtures the mind, what you have discovered in past things? So, what can't how support system shapes mental fitness? That is the main question that I have to ask.
So to me, I'm a person
Hmm,
who is very much driven by self-reflection.
hmm, hmm,
I'm not a person who just listen to somebody or just follow somebody, right?
hmm, hmm,
Until and unless I get the conviction for anything, I cannot come out of that situation.
hmm, hmm,
So for that, it is sometimes it is very small gesture that is also sufficient for me.
hmm,
Sometimes going back to the memory lane and seeing all the incidences related, similar or related kind of a thing, what and how I would have reacted, how I reacted there. When I see those things, I feel like, oh my God, this is something which was missing.
hmm,
And
hmm,
many people whom I got surrounded with, like my grandmother, my mother, my auntie, uncles. So those are the people unknowingly supported me.
hmm, hmm,
I never asked them direct
hmm,
question, but
hmm,
I
hmm,
just saw and I used to get the answers. So
hmm,
this is a
hmm,
very, very different kind of a quality which I have enhanced within me. It is
hmm.
from my childhood.
Right.
However, so people who cannot resonate or cannot connect with this one fundamental, I can tell them that your friends
Hmm, hmm.
can be a great support to you.
Right.
Right? Sometimes if that is not happening,
Hmm.
definitely coaches are there.
You stole the word out of my mouth. Thank you so much.
Why? Because
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
non-judgment. They are not judging you because
And
they
they are
have been
trained for
trained
that. Yeah.
not to
Yeah.
judge people.
Right. Right. They are trained to do that.
Right?
Hmm.
So yes, definitely coaches are there. They can
Hmm.
listen to you, they can
Hmm.
guide you, they can
Hmm. Hmm.
support you, and they can become catalyst in your
Very
growth.
true. And I think it's a very important part that you have highlighted, Smita, because we being in India, we are into a culture where we are surrounded with people and loving people, supporting people, but not trained in in making that growth where growth is non-negotiable. Because I think we have sympathized a lot on our problems. Now let's plan ourselves to get out of those problems or make ourselves more resilient towards it. And that can be only happening through a coach who is trained in that particular part. And as you rightly said, that the environment, emotional safety is also important because uh, what I feel you can't have your friends to operate on you, right? Your friends can't operate on you. You have to go to the doctor.
Not even family members.
Yeah, no, if you want to get operated, you definitely you can't have a friend who is like in your circle. I trust him. He's going to operate. You have to go to a surgeon. You have to go to someone who is qualified, who is trained on that particular part. When mindset comes in play, when habits comes in play, when mental health comes in play, you require coaches which would accelerate and journey in a right direction, in a
Yeah.
direction which can assure that the progress has been made, rather than, yes, friends are important. I'm not totally neglecting the friends part. Those are the foundation of the building or the person that you are made of. But if you want to create a structure, if you want to create a scientific structure of your, the entire blueprint and the plan, this is where you require an engineer, a mental engineer, and the coaches, the mental support teams, the peers. These are the people who want to support you to make that particular part. So when you are struggling in this particular journey of yours, making that mental wellness as a part of your plan, the last, not the last resort, but I think what I can say, the person who can shape it, make it sure that it is getting into a right direction would be the trained coaches. We are not trying to sell our services over here. We are just trying to tell you the importance of coach in our lives. And I think Smita and me, both of us, were struggling in our point of time, and we did have valuable coaches. It can be a book, it can be a podcast, it can be a person, and most of the time it is most probably it is a person. I think it's a persona
Person.
that, yeah, when you have
No
that
book,
particular,
no,
yeah,
no
nothing
podcast
compare.
can help you.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
yeah. So you don't you no matter how many podcasts you have listened to, I think once you start investing in those particular services, that is more important, because I always said that the hair has to be cut by the barber. Okay,
Hmm.
don't go into mirror and take the tutorial and do it, because you don't know, because you have blind spots in your mental arena. You have certain things that are not up to the par, which you don't have the tools. Okay, so a counselor, a coach, they have tools, they have mental models, they have a scientific way towards looking at it. They have responsibility, credibility, and the most important part is non-judgmental space.
Exactly.
And you can rely on that. We can say that we can't trade off your secrets because you are
Right.
bounded by our duties, right? We
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
because your friends can be your enemies maybe next week, and they can, they can put your secret all over the social media.
Right,
And
right,
that is
right.
what is happening a lot. You can see that. I'm not saying you can't trust them, but I think when we can keep a professional kind of a kind of an element in such a delicate matter, I think that would help you a lot. So,
Exactly.
so this is a support system that you are talking about. Yes, we as an Indian, we think that why to invest into coach? Why we need a coach? Because right now, the kind of environment that you are living in, the kind of when I say environment, it doesn't mean that the environment is harsh. I am saying that the environment is very dynamic. There are a lot of elements that are there which we as a human being are not able to, with our traditional knowledge, with our traditional support system, we are not able to cope up with that particular dynamism. You required a well-trained coach, a well-trained people to guide you through that. And with the practice and the consistency and dedication, definitely the kind of changes, the kind of improvement, the kind of achievement that you want to achieve can be totally manifested to that particular process. So,
So,
so that is what I want to talk about this particular, Smita. Anything that you want to add on this?
so simple thing that
Hmm,
car service you do regularly,
hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm.
If you are having a car, you do service, right?
Right. Hmm,
So same way, whenever you are having a mental issue, mental not means actual mental issue, but if something is there in your mind and which is actually holding your growth,
hmm, hmm.
you are gonna do trial and error
Right.
on your own, right?
Hmm, hmm,
Gonna waste your time, your
hmm,
energy, your money, and at the end you will be like clueless where I started and where I'm going.
hmm, hmm,
Instead of that, if you could go to a service station,
hmm.
right? For car, you are going service station. You are not doing car service at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is very much clear in our head. We can't do
Right.
it.
Mm.
However, when it comes with our abilities, our capacities, we try. That's okay. But there has to be certain point where when you are realizing that this is not working, I
Mm.
need to seek expert help.
Right. Mm.
And
Right.
good news is that people are there.
There. Right. True. 15 years back, we didn't have that much of, developed or what I can
We will,
infrastructure. We
we,
know we don't
yes,
have aware of it. We don't have trained people. Today we have a native
yes,
people. Native, I would say native. When we say native, because we are natives, okay, we know the cultural aspect. Why we have to, get an Indian coach? I will always say that, because rather than getting anybody out of this particular continent, they won't have a cultural context. That what are the cultural contexts? What kind of cultural Indian culture is there? What we value as Indians? So when we have a coach which is native, they would understand it better.
right,
And we did have Indian coaches, right, Smita? We had Indian coaches which guided us through this particular journey, and it has really worked magic for us. We didn't even imagine that. I didn't even imagine that I would be conducting podcasts with people. I would be speaking upright with the camera. I was so camera shy when I was started, because though I was into L&D, camera is a totally different ball game. People are totally different ball game. Speaking in front of camera is totally different ballgame. So now, even like every time you have to just reinvent yourself, and in reinventing yourself, we require guidance. That
Yes.
is far more important. So, and that's why exactly why Wisdom Seed, Mindful Brainy, what our entire processes or what our vision are there, that we are creating a safe space for leaders, professionals to think loud, feel safe, and grow stronger.
Yes.
Mental fitness growth happens in community, not in isolation. That is something that I've always felt, that
Exactly.
it doesn't happen in
Exactly.
isolation. You can't have it into your rooms. You have to connect with people. You have to expose yourself. You have to make sure that you are available in that particular space and try to make that particular progress. Behind the screens, I would say none. You watch thousands of podcasts, even books, for instance, you read them. But when you have a conversation with some person, with a coach, that conversation is totally different. And that is
Yeah,
far
energy
more.
matters.
Energy
Energy
matters.
matters.
Yeah, you get infected by the energy. I would say
Yeah.
infected, contagious.
Yes.
So personality do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we are closing to this particular thing, and we have crossed more than an hour, and
More
this was
than, yes.
such a wonderful, I would say, a journey, Smita. I think we have touched base upon so many good aspects, so many good insights. There has been a particular kind of a step-by-step consultation that has happened on this particular podcast, today's podcast. That how to be doing that. We usually charge for this particular consultation, but but I think for our listeners who have been with us for such a long time, who are watching this particular episode and they have regularly followed us, or whoever who have logged into this particular episode, this is a kind of a gift for you, and this is something that you apply directly, plug and play, which you can utilize and make sure that you are making that progress. So I really want to thank Smita for sharing such an insightful and powerful insights.
Thank you so
And
much.
it had always been a pleasure. Okay. Talking with you, the 5 episode has been insightful. Like a lot many things that I have learned from you, a lot many things that I have learned about myself when we were interacting together. So there would be certain kind of values that I would be carrying in myself as well. So to everybody who is listening to us, your mind deserves the same care as your body. That is what I want to say. Okay. So start with one ritual, stay consistent, surround yourself with supporting people. You can register for our future podcasts that are there, and more resources on our both of our individual website on Mindful Brainy and Wisdom Seed. You can also follow our pages. Till next week, we can see in that whichever venture comes in, Smita, we can definitely connect back and we can see which series we can draw and how things work. Till here, we are doing very fantastic job, and I think to our listener also, whoever is going to be there, can enjoy the entire value system that we have provided to this particular 5 podcast series that we had. So
Yes.
thank you all. Thank you, Smita. Thank you so much once again. And we'll
Thank you.
keep in touch and we'll
Yeah,
keep on
sure.
making and delivering value. So have
Yeah.
a great weekend ahead.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much. Chalo.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.